Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, and I am here with another episode of the This Guy Hasn't Seen podcast, where we talk about movies and trade them back and forth. And as usual, I can't trade things back and forth with myself. How would I do that? Easily, if you might add. However, I can't do that for this show, and I don't want to do it with this show, because I'm sitting here joined, as usual, by my friend, who is very statuesque and very good at being so. El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, Omari, thank you so much for having me. It's a wonderful time of year and a wonderful time to exchange movies.
Some may say it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Some may say.
Yep, and that is...
It's the holiday season.
It is the holiday season. Merry holidays to you all. Yes. So, yes, and speaking of the holiday season, we have a holiday film this week, I believe.
Yes, I am the first one here on the docket for Christmas, and I selected Jack Frost. It is from 1998. That is key, because it is only about 10 months after a film of the exact same name comes out that is about a sadistic, murderous sentient snowman. This is Jack Frost in 1998, the Christmas movie. A father who can't keep his promises is killed in a car accident. 1 year later, he returns as a snowman who has the final chance to put things right with his son before he is gone forever. It is directed by Troy Miller, stars Michael Keaton, Kelly Preston, and I guess this is the son's name is Joseph Cross. Yeah, so I selected, we talked about that we wanted to maybe hit something in theme with these episodes that would be coming out around the holidays.
Plenty of source material.
Yeah, and so obviously there are what some would say the classics, the big catalog, and you and I we haven't even really taken a moment to go through any of those to find out if you hadn't seen any of, like, I don't know, A Christmas Story or a Family Vacation or Christmas Vacation.
Yes, one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Like those, Home Alone. What you would say is the classics.
The classics. Die Hard,
So the first one I thought of was... Actually, if I was honest with myself, if I'm not lying with myself, a film that I saw a few different times around Christmases back in the maybe 10 to 12-year-old.
We would have been about around that age when it came out, so yeah.
Yeah, and didn't mind it, maybe enjoyed it. It would have been a membered favorably on Bill's side. But since then, I think I've shouted them out on times before. A wonderful podcast called How Did This Get Made with Paul Scheer, June Diane Raphael, and Jason Mantzoukas, and they watch terrible movies and joke about them, have fun, talk about them. They did this episode years and years and years ago with a special guest, Dan Harmon, who I'm also a humongous fan of, and they absolutely eviscerate this movie, and it made me go back and revisit it, and boy is it got it's a ridiculous concept for a Christmas movie, and I thought it would be wonderful to talk about it here with you.
To share the experience.
Yeah. What were you expecting from a film called Jack Frost?
Fair enough. Well, I hadn't seen it, and I hadn't seen it primarily because I'm not gonna say I hadn't heard of it. I'll say like, what even is this? Is what the note that I put for why I haven't seen it. I think the only Jack Frost I did know of was either the old claymation thing, and even then they may not have been one. I might be getting it confused with the other claymation movies, and 2, the horror movie. And so when you said this is not the horror movie, make sure you watch it 1998. So I'm like, oh, okay. So this is something completely different. As far as to what I was expecting, as I mentioned numerous times on the show, for whatever reason, I don't read the synopsis often when I click on these things. So I didn't, and I decided, hell, I've established a pattern. I'm gonna keep it. So I'm like, it's not the horror one. So I don't know. Maybe it's like the Santa Claus, but with a snowman. Instead of turning into Santa Claus slowly, he turns into a snowman for some wacky new reason. I don't know. Sounds weird enough, but who knows? So that's what I'm thinking going in here. Is like maybe he starts turning into a snowman, or like some fucking... What's the thing where the person not dies, but like passes out, has a near-death experience, and they're like, well, you better get your act together, so we'll put your body in this until you learn what's the right thing to do.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That's a story...
Yeah,
that's a plot.
type.
Yeah, that's a story type, and I was thinking maybe that with the snowman, like, oh, you're a bad person? Well, be a snowman for a week and see what happens. You'll either die a snowman if you can't learn to be a good father, type shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Right on. I mean, you're getting pretty close already.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'll go ahead and go on right into the movie happening, the initial reactions, unless you have something else to say before we get in there.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so initial reactions. So it may have been different on some kind of streaming service, but I ended up watching it on renting it on YouTube. Because it was like only $3 to do so, and it was standard definition. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm watching something in standard definition that Bill suggested for once. So that, I guess, was my first reaction. But after that, it started with like some bluesiest band singing like fucking Frosty the Snowman, and I'm like, I did not expect blues band Batman singing a Frosty the Snowman cover to start anything. Frosty the Snowman! And the guy doing the Back to Future just like, listen to what you said on the stage! But it cuts from that to like a fucking... He
says, it's the Jack Frost band. They're killing it. They're loving them. We gotta sign them. Because they're playing Frosty the Snowman.
But they look to be having a good ass time, them and the people there, to be fair. Like, but I wouldn't make a record deal based on a Frosty the Snowman cover. I'm gonna need some kind of other song if I'm the record label, personally. Nonetheless, it cuts to fucking Snowball War. And I'm like, really don't understand what's going on, but I'm like, this is interesting. And you got the kid with the fucking, I'm trapped up under some fucking shit. And then they call the kid Charlie Frost. And I was like, wait, the dude's name is actually Jack Frost? Because I figured Michael Keaton would be the main guy. And I'm like, his name is actually Jack Frost? All right. It's one of these. And then immediately when I put together 5 and 6 with the, he's a musician, it's a Christmas movie, there's a little kid that's the focus. My first thought was, oh, this kid's gonna ruin this dad's dreams with some whiny Christmas demand. Dad, you're out here trying to be a musician and provide for us, but I want my dad home for Christmas, and I'm gonna ruin whatever big thing you got happening on Christmas. Better get home on time and give up your dreams if you want to be a good person. And which is also a framing device for these movies.
Right.
For many a Christmas movie is or a Christmas TV show. Fucking Hawkeye was, I know you're a superhero, but you gotta be home for Christmas, Dad. That was the plot of Hawkeye last year. But it's not exactly where it goes.
Yeah,
it looks like it's gonna go that way, and then he makes the decision, and everybody in his band is also cool with it. So it's not like he's letting his band down by deciding to do this. He's like, I am gonna go home and be with my family, and then he gets in a car crash. And I'm like, oh, now his family's going to be mad because he took forever to get home because he, got to make it through the woods and shit. And at the end of the movie, he's going to no, he's dead.
We are now 30 minutes into this movie.
That was
We
crazy.
are a half hour into this movie. Something that could have happened in 5 minutes.
That's what made me mad.
In 5 minutes, we could have established, here's Michael Keaton. He's a musician. He's a really, he really loves his family, but it's hard to balance being a road musician and family. He's trying to get home for Christmas. Car crash. Boom. He's dead.
Like
5-10 minutes.
He literally could have came home from that concert. They have their little ha, we're playing outside. Their interactions, which I do like their interactions with one another, family-wise. I like the way they play off each other. Clearly, they like a lot of snarky, sarcastic comments at one of each other type deal. Like, but yeah,
they're a great family. Nothing's wrong. He's got straight A's. He confronts the bully. He's the hero at the snowball fight. Mom and dad are madly in love. Obviously, the house is just completely joyous and
the only problem is dad don't show up to the hockey games, and that's because he's busy trying to provide for the family. And so it's like, look, kid, that sucks, but such is the life of the child of an entertainer.
Right. Also, have you ever seen even like a JV high school or below game now as an adult? It's fucking excruciating.
Yeah.
I mean, none of those kids out there are mine. When I've encountered seeing a game, but even then, it can't be that powerful.
Well, I say it plays into.
No, yeah, I know, but even
then,
I know there's some emotions being stirred there. But when all those parents are honest with themselves, it's probably the first one or two times, and then like the first time they score a goal or whatever, and then the other times they're just like, oh my God.
Which the mom kept pointing out, like the kid, even though he liked hockey and his team wanted him on the hockey team, never scored a goal. And that's the main thing. She's like, he wanted his dad to be there for his first hockey goal ever. It's like,
who knows when that's gonna happen?
Exactly.
He might suck at hockey.
It didn't happen today. And I wasn't there, so calm the fuck down. That's rude. But anyway.
Also, it's 1998. Like, get a fucking video camera.
Yeah, they were.
They're not like broke.
They aren't. They can afford their kid playing hockey. So,
right. It's an expensive sport.
His dad, the mom works at U.S. Bank. I noticed the logo due to
they're
some
in
life
Colorado. It's not
experiences.
cheap to live in Colorado.
Also true. But yeah, so those were kind of the mix of the things, of the initial reactions. Is also it being one 90s ass movie. Numerous times throughout, they'd have random fucking. We talked about 80s montages and how those like we used Bloodsport as an example, as well as a couple other movies. This one had 90s montages.
Yep.
Which if I were to pick between the two, I'm gonna go with the '80s montage for one.
Oh, the
what I
80s
prefer.
montage is better. Yeah.
Far better. Fucking Hokuto no Ken, fucking whatever that song was that we were like, holy shit, when they had that montage. Yeah, no, that's the shit. 80s montage is where it's at. 90s, they tried too hard to go with the extreme shit, and this movie tried it as well.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
So those are some of the initial
we haven't
reactions.
even really said, yeah. So 30 minutes into this movie, Michael Keaton dies. 44 minutes into this movie is when we finally have a sentient snowman. And the movie that is supposed to be this movie happens. Funny behind the scenes info. And it's just kind of extra funny because of how of the everything of it all.
Yeah.
But this film was originally supposed to star George Clooney. He was attached for long enough to where the Jim Henson Company, the special effects production company that made the animatronic snowmen that are in a majority of the shots. These are a lot of these shots are practical shots.
Oh. I can see that.
The Henson Company made the suit with George Clooney and George Clooney's acting style in mind, and there wasn't enough time or budget to change them at all. So that is that suit, and the reason why George Clooney is not starring in this film called Jack Frost is because he got a phone call from Warner Brothers that they would rather him be in a little movie called Batman and Robin.
I was about to say, so he could play Batman?
Because their stars, their star Val Kilmer decided that he wasn't going to do another Batman. So eventually they went through. There's a ton of named actors of that era being looked at, and eventually, funny enough, they went with Michael Keaton,
who
a former Batman.
They're like, our star went to play Batman, so we'll just go get Batman to play the star of this movie. That's fantastic. He was a lot wackier than I would have thought of Michael Keaton, but it worked.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we finally get
the snowman.
The living snowman at about 43 minutes in. What I don't know. What do you think? What's going on? What are some of your memories?
It was weird, obviously. And I say that because like he first comes up, he's the snowman, and he's just like, first just hearing Michael Keaton, I guess just only voice, I was like, is this dude Michael Keaton? Did he get a different guy to play the snowman? I'm like, I guess not. No, I guess that is still him. But it was weird, and the way the kid first reacted, which makes sense, the kid was scared as shit, as anybody should be when a snowman comes to life, especially if 8 months before there was a horror movie about the same premise, with the same premise. Mm-hmm. And he had no reason to believe that the magic harmonica his dad gave him, which was clearly a bullshit story, which the dad even goes so far as to admit, because he's like, wait, that actually had magic? I didn't think it actually had magic. Neither did I. I just told you some shit. I don't fucking know. But premise wise, I was able to accept it for what it was rather quickly. It always kind of took me out of it whenever he was like trying to move or go places. Some of the jokes he was trying were a little bit too ha ha ha, knock knock knock. Like when he gets hit with the snow plow and he's just saying a whole bunch of shit to himself as he's like trying to deal with being a snowman. Yeah, it's like I
got a reference. Dan Harmon highlights it first, in the podcast episode I referred to, and it's always stuck with me. But there's a moment when he's walking down the sidewalk, and Harmon claims that he thinks that it's the writer's own shame leaking out into the actual script. But the snowman's walking down the sidewalk, and he's just talking to himself, and he's like, what's even happened to me? Like, what is this, because my name is Jack Frost? That's stupid. That's not even creative. Like, what? His name's Jack Frost, so make him a snowman? What? Like, that's just the writer's shame leaking out of, like, this is a terrible idea.
Exactly. Like, because my name's Jack Frost. Just what? No. No, that's exactly what they decided to do. Or which came first, the name or the plot idea? No.
And then the other piece of dialogue I always think of is Snow Dad is better than no dad.
The fucking bully. Good snowboarder. The bully.
Yeah.
The bully
keeps up with a snowman.
He's up with a magic snowman and his kid. While all the other kids get bodied. So, good thing for the bully. But yeah, the bully was about as cliche 90s bully as possible. Just, there's a lot of... Yeah. What's up, weenie? So what? I don't even have my dad. Yeah. So what? I don't even have my dad. He's been weird since his dad died. I don't care. I don't even have a dad.
Yeah. No, that's the bully's lackey who has that line of like, hey, Frost, blah, blah, blah. Don't bother. He's been lame since his dad died. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's been lame since his dad died, and then the bully responds, so? I don't even know my dad.
Right.
But yeah, so the bully, this was ridiculous. But the movie is ridiculous. And I guess we'll just skip, into the standout moments and plots and stuff. That first snowman awakening scene, like you said, with the sad montage because it had been a year since the dad died, and the kids just sad, rolling the stuff up. I'm like, okay, so he makes a snowman out of just sadness because that's the last thing he really remembers doing with his dad, and them both being happy. And so, And then that happens, and I'm like, okay, but then the rest of it we've already gone into. Snowplow, him walking down the street, that whole first sequence with him. And then so
the building of that snowman landslide is playing, and it's even in a dumbass movie like this, it's hard for that song to not make any scene emotionally powerful.
That's what I'm saying. It was a sad ass snowman building scene. I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he pulled out all of his dad's old stuff from the box and gave him the hat and the scarf and all that. Yeah, it was, and then yeah, like you got landslide playing in the background.
Yeah, obviously we mentioned the Snowball War 2.0 where he didn't really care, and then the fucking dad shows up as a snowman and just starts fucking cheating for him. And then they run away from the fucking bully on a snowboard, and I'm just like, what is this with some
on a broken toboggan?
Yeah, and some scenes look like they were like obviously like green screen, and other scenes it's just the CG. If there had to be some CGI for this fucking snowman.
Oh yeah, no, there's like a bunch of the snowman or a bunch of the snowboarding stuff is CG.
Okay, yeah. Some of it
there's
was pretty
several,
obviously
there's
90s
several
CG.
full CG.
There's some pretty obvious 90s CG moments, and they are what they are. I did like the whole J-shot learning thing, but not because of the whole premise of him teaching him the J-shot, because that's just silly and jokey, but it reminded me of something from a game called Final Fantasy X. And in that game, the main character is the son of a star athlete named Jecht. And unlike this kid, the Final Fantasy X's main character, Tidus, he wasn't close with his dad at all. Also, his dad was a super duper success at what he did. But part of the thing in the game is the dad had a signature shot in what he did, because what they played was pretty much like underwater handball. Is the best way to describe blitzball. But he had a special shot that he had that I've taken part of my moniker from. The name of the shot was the Sublimely Magnificent Jack Shot Mark III. And there is no, fun fact, there is no Mark 1 or Mark 2. Mark 3 was solely a marketing ploy to make fans keep showing up hoping to see the Mark 1 and Mark 2. But him doing the J shot, and he's like, I got this legendary shot that I was really good with, and I'm passing it to you, as opposed to like in the game where you can reluctantly learn the shot to prove to your deceased dad that, haha, I am on your level. I learned the Jack shot, and then both starting with J shot and the whole Sublimely Magnificent. To me, I just put all that together and was like, the hell. I remember telling Jack's English voice actor, who is also from St. Louis, fun fact, because I met him at a con. I told him I took the Sublimely Magnificent and put it in front of my name and stuff, and I said the whole Sublimely. He's like, I don't know if that'll all fit on the marquee, but more power to you. I'm like, exactly. But anyway, that's why that J-shot scene stood out to me.
It's so ridiculous because they're just playing with giant logs, like giant branches, kind of shaped like hockey sticks. And the idea that he'd be able to take that and a pine cone and somehow learn some sort of finesse, wrist flicky,
straight but relaxed
shot, like, is ridiculous.
Pretty much.
Shout out to Henry Rollins as the hockey coach, and
that was one of the initial reactions I had, like, this hockey coach
and one of the unfortunate guys who has to keep encountering who's one of the few adults who keeps encountering the sentient snowman, and nobody believes him. His own sons are mocking him to his face.
I'm sure one of those sons went on to do a lot more acting too. I couldn't put a name to him, but he had a familiar
what's their name? What is their family last name? They are the Lawrences, Joey Lawrence from the 90s.
Okay.
And he had a brother named something else, Matthew Lawrence, also from
the 90s.
The 90s. And then that is their littlest brother.
Gotcha.
Also from the 90s.
Okay.
And
he had a familiar ass face.
And they were in a lot of 90s things, including their own sitcom called, I think, The Lawrence Brothers or something like that. Andrew Lawrence is his name.
Okay. Cool. I'm glad you knew exactly who the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, one of those kids. I've seen him in a bunch of shit. But apparently I just saw his brothers and him. So that was, some standout stuff. Any standouts for you? Like, I also had the fucking near the end of climax shit, them trying to save him as a snowman and all the wacky shenanigans involving that, including Snow Dad's better than No
I mean,
Dad.
I've hit a lot of mine in the early part of the movie.
Yeah.
I guess the big all of my other standout moments, I guess, are at the end.
Okay, yeah, same. So over the course of the movie, pretty much Dad reconfirms his relationship with his son, kind of apologizes for dying a year before, and teaches him the J shot, which which allows him to score his first goal, which, even though it ended up being 70 degrees, which, again, for as bad as the movie is, or maybe for what the movie is, I do like that they kept hinting at the, like, or they kept having, like, the radio guy be like, it's gonna be a warmer Christmas than usual. Boy, it's gonna be hot this Christmas. And then sure enough, it gets to that day. It's already 50 degrees. It's gonna be 70 something by midday. Maybe not enough to melt a snowman, but it's gonna be pretty fucking hot. He even threw in a line like that.
Right, yeah.
Like, maybe not just for the people that are like, well, why isn't he melting so as fast as the rest of the snow? They threw in a line to be like, not hot enough to melt a snowman instantly, but still hot.
Yeah, it's essentially that. It's not like your snowmen that might be in the front yard are going to instantly melt, but they'll definitely slowly melt, very slowly throughout the day. Say goodbye to those snowmen, because you have approximately 24 hours with them.
I just love that they threw that line in there. But yeah, all them trying to save. Whoa. But then when they get in the vehicle, after the bully helps him get his dad onto a vehicle and everything, with the whole no dad or whatever, or no dad's better than snow dad, whatever. You get what we're saying. We said it correctly numerous times.
No dad is better than no dad.
There we go. They jumped out of that moving vehicle,
and he was cool with it.
Yeah.
You are a terrible father now.
He's like, you ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait, what?
Let's
3?
jump out of this vehicle going like 30 miles an hour.
Up a mountain.
Sure.
So we go up the mountain. And so that it could be cold, because mountains are almost always cold, even in December, even regardless of how it is, due to height and all that.
Due to things.
And yeah, so they do that. Eventually, they find their cabin that they should have spent Christmas at before. And he puts the kid to bed and calls the mom on the phone to be like, who he had tried not to see the whole movie because he was embarrassed to be seen.
Kind of rude to her?
Yeah.
Is that not kind of rude to her?
I agree. He's like,
for making that decision for her?
I'm embarrassed to be seen as a snowman around her, so don't tell your mom I've come back to life to be on this planet. I'm just going to watch her through the window creepily. And leave wet marks all over the floor when I come in the house.
Yeah, like every time when she finally gets up there, which also, you know what? Shout out to Kelly Preston. I feel like for what she's asked to do in this movie, she does a very good job.
Great job.
Does a very good job. She is emotionally connecting. Like some of the more emotional moments in the movie are either because of her involvement or the song Landslide.
I agree. Yeah, she does fantastic. I have no problems with her. Like, again, what she's supposed to do, she's here doing it.
Yeah. So every time she shows up at the cabin and he suddenly sparkle turns into Michael Keaton, I scream at the top of my lungs, could you always do that?
That's a good question. I was just like,
could you have just always done that?
That's a good point. No, I was just too busy being like, look at this fucking Return of the Jedi ass ghost shit at the end. Just like, and I'm Michael Keaton. No. But yeah, you can bring up a good point. Could he just have done that the whole time? Did he even try?
And then also, yeah, like super disrespectful to your wife.
Yeah, which I do think he apologizes
to
for
be
saying
living again for like 48 hours and 72 hours, something like that, and to not reach out to her until his last
very end.
20 seconds. He sings a terrible fucking song. Obviously, all the other moments are Michael Keaton lip syncing to somebody else. Because now suddenly when Michael Keaton just has to sing, it's just like,
well, you know, he's also trying not to cry because it's sad. No, I'm kidding.
Right, it's so emotional.
I'm kidding. He was not a good singer. I'm with you on that. Or at the very least, they could have done some more takes if he is. But yeah, I'm with you.
We do it in one, baby.
Huh?
We do it in one, baby.
We do it in one. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
But yeah, that's always a ridiculous moment for me.
I agree. I put it as like the standout moment that just Return of the Jedi ass ghost shit at the end.
You think the keyboardist is trying to tap Kelly Preston?
I think so. Matt.
I mean,
one, can't necessarily blame him for trying, and two, it's pretty obvious. Like he's like, yeah, I'll do anything. Hey, you need me, you got me. I'll leave in the middle of the day in my store and let this old dude just sit here and be like, what the fuck? I was trying to pay. That's totally what happened. I mean, she did something similar at the bank, but at least the people at the bank saw her kid come in, say some shit, and run out. So her chasing her son out wouldn't make sense to them. This old man's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pay for this. All right, that'll be... So. It's like, huh? What? Gone.
No, she needs me. Obviously, I'm heading that way. I mean, it could just be that, you know, it's like best friends or whatever. And
also, well, yeah, they play it up as friends, but I could also see him, if that is the case. I wouldn't be surprised. Or I wouldn't be surprised if he wants that to be the case, but he's like trying to wait for her to do something.
Yeah, he's just gonna, he's making himself available.
Exactly. That's what I think is going on there.
Not being pushy about it. He's just he's there for if she notices.
Yes.
we've all been there. Yeah, so I don't know. So this movie, I'm gonna give up. So I watched it probably a few times when I was a kid.
All right.
The How Did This Get Made podcast comes out. I listened to that first. I don't even rewatch the movie. I'm like, oh right, I know this movie. Play a bunch of that. How much fun they had with talking about it made me go and watch the movie again.
Yes.
And then I've now seen it again a second time as an adult. I will say it is not a movie I would recommend for a second viewing. This isn't a movie that I would put into my rotation, even my wide Christmas rotation of not necessarily a movie that will play every year. Yeah. Like either Home Alone or Home Alone 2 is played every year at some point in Christmas. These eyeballs will see it.
Same.
Jack Frost is not the same. I think, but I would say this is a movie that I would recommend for just a one-off kind of fun laugh. I find it hilarious that our friend Jazz at the end of our last episode was like, oh yeah, that's a fun movie, because as we all know, Jazz has terrible taste in movies. I'll end this episode. The last thing I'll say on this
I love it.
Is I completely agree with everything that you said. Comedies are encapsulated in the moment, and that more than anything, I will not. Jazz always leads it and prefaces it like, people are gonna crucify me for this one. and it's like, no, man, I'm not even batting an eye at you saying you hate Anchorman. That's nothing. The idea that you call The Departed overrated and you enjoy The Greatest Showman is enough evidence. The fact that you think that a better Melissa McCarthy performance is in The Heat. Bro. Over Bridesmaids? Over Bridesmaids, bro? She was nominated for an Academy Award, bro. Come on. Jack Frost is a bad movie, but I encourage you to watch it for its badness. I think it falls in that category of bad fun, and it's worth one viewing.
Well, to be fair,
Omari.
he did say Jack Frost was a fun movie, not a good movie. So
That's
bad
true.
fun, he could still be in that book.
He probably liked it.
Oh, probably. I can never tell with that man. That's what keeps it interesting. Yes. So this movie, I believe you've
Wait
also
until the
said
end for
something
that one. He's
about
got to
me.
stick around. He's got to stick around. He's got to watch this whole damn thing to see me talking shit on him.
Yeah, so you said something about, you've made comments about my old movie taste in the past as well, where it's just about anything you put in front of me, I'll be like, oh, okay, it was a movie. And I think I even said that word for word to someone earlier today when they're like, oh, what did you think? I'm like, well, it's definitely a movie. I think bad fun is the better way to put it. I also will agree with your assessment of you only need to really see it the one time. And if you're seeing it, see it to know that you're watching a bad movie. Because I will say, because at first I was watching it, I'm like, you know what, if this movie is bad, I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm just going to say it's bad. But amongst talking it with you about it, even though we were like more or less shitting on the majority of it, we did admit to some funny even in the concept of what the hell were they thinking moments. So bad fun is a good, or bad good, or whatever. Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Yep.
I agree with you. Or no, it's good, bad, good, bad,
Good,
bad,
good, bad, bad, good, bad.
Okay, so the thing it is
This
first.
is the bad good.
Okay, so bad, good, yeah.
Or bad fun, whatever.
Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure, yeah, it's the third one. So yeah, so I would put it in that category right there with you. But yeah, it's not really a rewatch for me. As far as roles, there aren't that many adult roles in the fucking thing anyway. Jack, Mac, Coach, I don't care. I'd play any of them.
Yeah, the hockey coach would be fun.
Yeah.
I'll drive the plow.
That guy, Freebird.
I think I can do better than the Zappa brother, who is the one of the Zappa brothers is the snowplow guy, and then the other Zappa brother is the record executive in the opening scene, and I'm pretty sure I can do a better line read than him. I'm pretty sure I can do that just a hair more natural. So I'd take that role, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, and there you have it. Jack Frost. It's a movie. Watch it, maybe. Be ready to laugh at it not being a good one. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Next week, since it's Christmas season, I'm gonna recommend a movie to you that. Well, I guess I'll get into like why I'm recommending it later. Almost Christmas by
Ding dong.
Oh, Almost Christmas, directed by David E. Talbert. You seen that one?
Almost Christmas.
Starring Danny Glover.
Wait, I thought we already talked about this. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't think I have.
All right. That's it. Almost
That's it.
Christmas. That is what we will be talking about. I'm going to the Blackwell again. Whatever. Deal with it. But
We're digging deep.
We've gone over it numerous times. Why I have to on occasion. Bottom line is, I'm doing it for Christmas. No, I'm more of a joking. Just for people at home, I'm not going to explain. Just know it happens. Bottom line is, that's what we're watching next week, almost Christmas. So, if you want to find me anywhere else, obviously we got other videos on this channel, including videos involving Super Jazz, where he states such opinions about other movies that we've seen.
Wrong.
Also, you can see him if you want to see some other opinions of Jazz's, good or bad opinions. You know, it's up to you.
He might have good opinions.
He has some good opinions. He has some that I don't think are the best opinions, but they're on. You can watch our Dragon Ball Z reviews. You can hear more opinions of Jazz. Opinions. Oh, definitely, obviously.
That's the thing, is he's an actor. You're an actor.
So
You're an actor. You called it a part and overrated.
I fucking love this. Anyway, you can also find me talking to Super Jazz about all kinds of things, movies, rap, all whatever. You hear all the opinions. Bill's is on the show as well on occasion. The Whatever We Want podcast every week, every Wednesday with new episodes. I'm also on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi.
Come on in. Stop on by.
That's right. Thank you very much. And Bill, you got anything to say to the folks? Shout outs?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Adiosness.